Hello and welcome or welcome back to the Unbound Soul Tarot. I am so glad that you have found your way to me and have chosen to click on this reading. So just to give you a bit of an insight into what we are going to be doing today, what it is that you are about to watch. So the plan is we are first taking a look into your emotional state, what it is that you are feeling as you are watching this reading. And after that, we are going to get a theme for you to see what it is that Spirit deems most important for you to hear or delve deeper into. And so, yeah, it's going to be exciting and hopefully really profound what we are going to be discussing. So I have no clue at this point what is going to be coming up, but hopefully it is going to be exactly what you need to hear in this moment in time. And I'm making this reading in the hopes that it will help to make you feel a bit better, regardless of where you are at right now, regardless of whether you are feeling okay, whether you are feeling somewhat fed up or frustrated, or whether you are feeling really down in the dumps. Because of all of the strange and anxious and really stressful and frustrating times that we are in right now, I feel like these sorts of readings are things that can hopefully get us through these times with more ease, if that's possible. But yeah, that is the intention of today's reading. And I also want to put it out there that I was inspired to do this reading by Marine from The Waves of Your Soul. So this is totally inspired by her and the way that she uses these oracle cards that we are going to be using in this reading too. So thank you, Marine. But now that the introduction is out of the way, let's take a look at the piles that you get to choose from. Pile number 1 is represented by this card and the Lumina Tarot. Pile number 2 is represented by this card and the Rainbow Tarot. And pile number 3 is represented by this card and the Modern Witch Tarot. If you already know exactly which pile is pulling you in, then you can go down into the description box and click on the timestamp that you need. If you want to watch more than one pile, that is absolutely fine as well. Watch as many as you like. There may be several messages in here for you, but if you need some more time and you need maybe some guidelines on how to go about choosing the right pile for you, then what I would first recommend is getting yourself to a quiet place. If you are distracted in any way, if there is a lot of noise around you, then try and get yourself to a quiet, peaceful space if you can. Also, close your eyes for a few seconds. That definitely helps to ground yourself and feel more connected to your body and this present moment. And as you are taking these deep breaths and really focusing on your physical body, open your eyes and take a look at the piles again. See what is calling out to you. See what you are drawn to. Maybe there is a sensation, maybe you hear something, maybe there is a pull towards something, maybe your eye is just landing on a specific symbol or color and you keep looking at that thing. So in whatever way your intuition speaks to you, trust that voice and follow it. But as I also always say, please don't forget to use your discernment as you are listening to these general messages. Okay, so having said all of that, let's jump into it. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 1. My name is Helen and I am so thankful that you have found your way to me, that you have chosen to spend your time with me. I really appreciate it and I hope that it's going to be meaningful. But let's get to the cards that you chose. By the way, if you see that the setup is different, then that's because I am testing out a new camera lens. So yeah, we'll see how we get on with this and how we end up liking this. But yeah, anyway, just in case you were wondering, that is what is happening. But you chose this card as well as the Lumina Tarot. We're going to get to the Lumina Tarot a bit later, and we also have some pre-prepared oracle cards, which if you are not new to this channel, you are already familiar with, that's how we roll. But let's take a look at the card that you chose first. I'm gonna feel my way through it intuitively, see what sort of messages are coming up, and hopefully based on that you can already draw some conclusions regarding whether this is sounding like your pile or not. So pile number one. We have this interesting card depicting a girl that looks like Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf. And when I looked at this, the first thing that came to mind was inviting your monster to dinner, or inviting your monster for tea or something like that. You know, it's a message in one of my other oracle decks, and for some reason it just popped right into my head as I saw this card. So it feels like you may have recently started getting more comfortable or getting more acquainted with possibly a more shadowy aspect of yourself. It's definitely making me think of shadow work. So maybe that is something that is relevant at this time for some of you. And usually shadow work is something that takes a bit of time. So it may be a process that you have already been in for some time, or maybe you have just started getting more deeply into it, because the energy of shadow work has been coming through in my previous readings as well. So it seems to be maybe even a bigger theme. But even if it's not specifically getting more acquainted with an aspect of yourself that you have maybe not wanted to look at, or that you have been afraid or ashamed to look at, or yeah, just something that you maybe weren't even aware of that existed in you. If it's not anything internal, it may also be that you have started looking at someone or something that you thought was like a challenge or an enemy or a source of opposition for you through a different sort of lens. It feels like you are seeing them in a whole new light. And if you look closely, the rest of the landscape is all snowy and it looks like it's kind of a snowstorm. But then these two are sitting on grass, and you can actually see sunlight that is hitting them and that is thawing away and melting away the snow and the ice and the cold. So again, it feels like there is something that you are starting to accept, or maybe simply tolerate. Again, it may be a person around you that you are kind of forced to spend time with, or that you are forced to deal with on a regular basis maybe. So it could be like a co-worker, or just someone who is around you, maybe a neighbor. Again, put the details in place as you will, but it feels like a moving towards harmony, like a realization of sorts. And I feel like it's a really healthy one. It's something that helps to make things better and help things develop and help things grow. So regardless of which scenario you resonate more with and what this wolf actually represents for you, again with an aspect of yourself, whether someone else outside of you, whether it's a thing or a concept or a belief, anything like that you maybe were opposed to, or that you maybe felt threatened by, or that you didn't think was for you, it seems like you have gone through some sort of process where you are becoming like more elevated and more mature. I know that maybe the word itself doesn't sound that great, but yeah, there's definitely growth that has taken place here. And I feel like you are noticing it as well. You are realizing it. You are realizing that you are growing, that you are becoming more adept. You are becoming more wise. And because we're dealing with the Little Red Riding Hood, this may even be something from your childhood as well. It may be something that, maybe you have been afraid to look at since childhood. It could very well even be something like that, something that has kind of been like a monster in the closet, so to say, for a long time. But now, yeah, I don't know, it just feels like something has shifted in you, something has changed in you, something has made you feel okay with addressing whatever this wolf is for you. But pile number one, let's look at the oracle cards as well. Let's see what it is that you are actually feeling right now. What is your emotional state as you are watching this reading? And hopefully, based on these cards, it will be even more clear for you whether this is actually your pile or not. So let's see. We have disconnection, power, competence, subjugation, leadership, corruption, tyranny, responsibility, negligence, authority, influence, confidence. So this is one of the sort of the like principal cards, or a bigger theme cards with lots of like keywords attached to it. Okay, so we have trust your instinct, or follow your instinct, trust your instinct. We also have champion, to advocate, to support, to defend, to empower, to stand by something with commitment and conviction. And stagnation. Okay, so pile number one, these cards are literally screaming of deep inner work. And I want to start off with this disconnection card, because this to me is saying that there is a part of you, and it most likely is some wounded part of you, or some part of you that had this sore spot, that had this trigger that used to have a lot of power over you. And so I'm gonna kind of jump ahead here and grab this power card too, because it feels like power is a very strong keyword here, and it's tied to possibly feeling powerless, feeling like you are at the mercy of something else or someone else. Maybe it's even simply a memory, an experience that has stayed with you and that you have struggled to, again, to deal with, to look at. But with this disconnection card, it feels like you are at this point now where you are becoming more distant from that part of you. You are starting to separate yourself and separate your identity, your self-image, your perception when it comes to who you are, what you want to do, what you want to become. All of those things, you seem to be starting to disconnect those parts of you, those more wounded parts that maybe used to push down these other more hopeful parts of you. You seem to be starting to separate yourself from them. And maybe you are also starting to reevaluate the notion of power, separating yourself from these things or from these fears or from these concepts that you maybe used to give a lot of power to. But now you seem to be realizing that you yourself are actually full of power as well. And with this trust your instinct card, it feels like you are much more in tune with what you are feeling, with what is right for you. You seem to be much more in control. We also have this champion card. And so it feels like you are standing up to, again, something that potentially used to scare you, or that used to make you feel small, that used to make you feel helpless. But now it seems like you are not really there anymore. And as you are facing up to those things, which, as I am jumping ahead here again, seem to be tied to this feeling of stagnation, these things that used to keep you stuck, these things that used to make you feel like this is all there is ever going to be, that this thing is always going to exist and this thing is always going to have this power over you. You seem to be standing up to all of that now. You seem to be finding your own voice, finding some sort of inner well of strength and resilience. And again, it feels like you are literally melting the snow, thawing the ice, whatever has been stuck and frozen in place for a long time, that has remained unmoving and kept you somewhat stuck in a bubble as well, in some sort of past energy. That seems to be falling down. That seems to be crumbling. So I feel like as you are going through this journey, pile number one, you seem to be building up this level of self-belief as you are proving to yourself that you actually can do something that you thought was impossible, that you thought you were never going to be able to do. Maybe for some of you, it may even be like that dramatic. So yeah, there is this this breaking apart from something that has ruled potentially over you and maybe over your decisions, or that has at least affected you very, very deeply for quite some time. All of that is changing now. You are changing it. And I'm absolutely loving it, pile number one. So yeah, I feel like I am dealing with some really strong, courageous people here. So if you are recognizing this energy, if this is how you are feeling right now, if this is what you are going through, then very likely this is your pile, and definitely stay tuned, because now we are going to take a look at an oracle card from the Unshakable Inner Peace Oracle deck, and we're going to get a message which also features a question, a prompt, and we're going to start digging into that prompt together with the Lumina Tarot that you chose. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what comes through. What is the main sort of self-care message or theme that Spirit deems important for you to hear more about? So let's see. Oh, beautiful. Okay, we have: gratitude is the life force of peace. What are you thankful for? Okay, so we are digging into gratitude, which is a beautiful message always. I'm going to show you the card as well. Sorry, I already lost myself there. But this is the card that you chose, and this is the theme that we are going to take a deeper look at. So gratitude is the life force of peace. What are you thankful for? Okay, so let's first take a look at what is something that you can feel thankful for. What is a sort of a blessing in your life? Sorry, I'm adjusting myself. What is the sort of blessing in your life that may sort of deserve more recognition? Okay, so we have the Empress, the Six of Wands, and the King of Swords in reverse. So I rearranged the cards a bit. As you can see, I had to move them around so that the cards would fit better. But pile number one, I'm getting potentially a more specific message. So I'm gonna get that one out of the way. I want to start off with the underlying energy, which is the King of Swords in reverse. I'm going to show you the image upright, but it came out in reverse. And the energy that is emanating from this card feels very much other to me. It feels like there is a specific person in your life that has caused some sort of emotional scarring or some sort of like false mental constructs to be built in you, if I can say it that way. Now, the main thing that I'm feeling with the King of Swords in reverse is that this may be an ex-partner of yours, so someone that you were in a relationship with, but it can also be a parental figure. And don't get stuck in the gender aspect of the card. This is just more sort of aggressive and domineering and potentially also manipulating sort of energy, because we're dealing with the sword suit here. So this is someone who has a very tactical mind, someone who is very clever, very quick-witted, but that maybe likes playing mind games and enjoys making people squirm and making people feel stupid or less than. So they seem to be yearning for control and power, but doing that in a very twisted sort of way, where they like belittling people and feeling better about themselves by putting other people down, and just potentially spewing like nonsense, saying stuff that isn't really true, saying stuff that isn't really real, but making you believe that it is. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't like the energy of this King of Swords in reverse. It feels really yucky to me. And as I'm saying it, I can feel my heart racing. So it almost feels like this person gave you massive anxiety, or like just being around them. There seems to be like a fear element here as well, but I'm gonna sort of try and separate myself from this energy because I really, really don't like it. But I do feel that this part, and sorry that I got sucked into it for that long, but I feel like that is really the energy that you have faced and that you have somehow managed to survive, that you have somehow managed to come out of, because we have this beautiful Empress energy and we have this beautiful Six of Wands. And I do feel that one of the things that is coming through here that I actually wanted to get to, the point that you could really feel grateful for, is the ability that you have had to still remain open-hearted, to still remain tender and gentle and caring and open and vulnerable. With this Empress energy, it feels like there is so much nurturing that you are capable of giving, that you are capable of offering, that you still want to offer. And being this truly loving and authentic and generous person, despite having faced something truly truly challenging, and that is putting it mildly. I feel like that is such a feat in and of itself. And again, the Six of Wands just clearly shows victory, that you have been able to come out of that situation, come out of that energy, and still remain in this beautiful Empress energy, still create, still love, still offer support and compassion and understanding. And yeah, so the fact that you haven't become jaded as a result of this King of Swords energy is kind of a miracle. And I do feel that it's something to be deeply, deeply proud of, first and foremost, but also grateful for. Now, as we are zooming out of this very specific energy, I feel this Empress and Six of Wands can also very much hint at having a support group, or even if it's not necessarily a huge group or network of friends that you have, it just feels that you are definitely respected. The Six of Wands is an energy of being recognized for your talents, recognized for your personality, recognized for who you are and how you are. But again, because the Empress is here, it's making me feel this connection to, or it's drawing me to some sort of like creativity, or maybe some sort of art or talent. So some sort of inherent gift that you have, something that you use as a form of self-expression. And I feel like people definitely notice you for it. People acknowledge it. People recognize you for it. And that's also something to be grateful for, that you are seen, that people see you. And again, they respect you. I feel lots of respect coming through from the Six of Wands. But if we kind of zoom out even more, the Six of Wands is also talking about all of these accomplishments that you have had, all of these breakthroughs, all of these successes that you have gone through, big or small. You seem to have been able to keep pushing yourself. You seem to have been able to make a mark, like regardless of which area it is in, and whether it is academically, whether it is professionally, whether it is within some sort of more specific community. You definitely seem to have been able to make a mark. And so, yeah, regardless of what this King of Swords influence has been for you, you have managed to create beautiful things. You have managed to create beauty, create something that magnifies feel-good energies in people. So, yeah, that is definitely something to be really, really grateful for. Okay, but pile number one, let's also see where can you find more peace in your life. Okay, we have the Maiden of Wands, which is like the Page of Wands, and we have the Tower in reverse as the underlying energy. Okay, so pile number one, with this Maiden of Wands energy, it is clear that you can find more peace in your life by following these little sparks of curiosity, by following these little inspirations that you get. These may be little thoughts, little ideas that just pop in your head. These may also be certain sources of creativity that you stumble across. These may be conversations that you have with certain people. But it feels like there is something else. There may be a new sort of hobby or interest that kind of comes online for you, and maybe you're already feeling it. Maybe it's something that is still kind of brewing, that is waiting for the right time, but it feels like it is going to be coming suddenly, maybe kind of unexpectedly. And following that path, allowing yourself to go into this thing with zero expectations, zero pressures, just seeing where it takes you, having this really casual and fun and, again, simply curious way of approaching something new, embarking on a new journey, or deciding to follow a new path. Maybe even it could be something that you used to find fun or engaging when you were a child. So that may be a thing as well, that maybe you are rediscovering something from your childhood and starting to take it up again now. But yeah, with the Tower in reverse, you can find a lot more peace by carving your own path forward now, seeing which pieces you want to put together. And also I feel that with both of these cards, it may also hint at something actually being quite interesting, quite powerful, quite profound from when you were younger. Something that, again, something that you used to do simply for fun, something that you found really enjoyable and that you could spend hours upon hours doing, and that you could kind of just lose yourself in that process. So yeah, if you instantly recognize what that is, then I feel like following that path and again, just having fun with it, seeing where it takes you, that may be something that truly brings you peace, that truly brings you this sense of calm and like feel good energy. But also, let's take a quick look at what can come out of you focusing more on this peace and gratitude. Where can this feeling of gratitude or emphasizing more gratitude in your life, where can it take you? Okay, we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, the Queen of Wands in reverse, and the Six of Swords. Okay, so see, I feel a massive confirmation with this Ten of Pentacles in reverse because it's giving me the vibe of having some sort of deeply ingrained perception or something that has been kind of stuck and solidified within you for a long time, something that you have maybe even identified yourself through. Because the Ten of Pentacles is always tied to long-term energy, and this feels tied to something that has been given to you as a legacy, but it doesn't feel like a really good one, if that makes any sense. And the Queen of Wands in reverse is clearly talking about a loss of self-esteem, a loss of self-belief. Again, having a potentially warped sense of self in general and how you view yourself. And because this is the Queen of Wands energy, it's usually this beautiful, vibrant, energetic, passionate, loving, and confident energy, but it's coming out in reverse. So it feels like it's lacking that. And I feel like that is something that, again, you potentially have been given, something that you have had to kind of carry with you, something that has maybe defined you for a long time. But now, again, the underlying energy is such a powerful one here right now. The Six of Swords is coming out as the underlying energy. And this is saying that you are able to finally move on from that. You are able to finally separate yourself from that, whatever this solidified perception is that you have been given. And you are able to sort of make your own way, clear out that baggage. And yeah, I really, really love that, because again, the Six of Swords is not an easy card, but the transition, the journey leads to some place that is much more peaceful, that is much more conducive to your well-being. And yeah, I just love it, because again, with this feeling of gratitude, with this feeling of like focusing on your peace, focusing on your sense of well-being, you are able to, again, take power back from this perception that has been a part of you because of the past. And this whole thing just feels really, really liberating. You are doing some serious work here, and it's definitely paying off. And yeah, just reminding yourself of what you have survived, what you have come through, how big of a deal that actually is. It's really, really important. But pile number one, we're going to wrap the reading up with a couple of oracle cards just to get some advice or support from Spirit. So let's see what they want you to know. Wow. That flew out really strongly. Okay, wow. So the underlying energy, I'm going to show you that one quickly, is Beaver Spirit, lay a solid foundation. And that's definitely what you seem to be doing here. That is a perfect way to sum up the energy that is coming through. You are definitely looking at the foundation, you are reworking things, and you are making sure that you are building your future, the future that you want to have, the future that you want to create for yourself, on a really sturdy and solid foundation that is completely separate from the past. And we also have Giraffe Spirit, see the big picture. And yeah, I feel like that's what you are doing, pile number one. You are looking at you are looking at the big picture. Okay, that took some time to get into focus. But you are actually looking at the big picture. You are digging into, again, some of the things that you maybe didn't want to look at, and you are getting it all out there. You are starting to reevaluate certain things, starting to see yourself as a separate being from whatever else is on that picture for you. So yeah, keep focusing on the big picture, pile number one. But let's see what else we can get. Okay, so the card, there was a bunch of cards that came out, as you saw, and yeah, there were way too many. So we're just taking the one that was on top, and that is take yourself less seriously. See, this is a really good sort of reminder, because doing this shadow work or facing certain things, reframing something in your mind, changing your perspective, it's all really taxing stuff. It can take a lot out of you, and it can, again, drag you more to these like solemn or melancholy places, and they can be energetically really draining and emotionally really draining. So with this, take yourself less seriously. I feel like Spirit is just reminding you to make space for joy, make space for like childlike, lighthearted energy. Like with the Maiden of Wands, right? This energy of focusing on fun, on inspiration, on things that light you up, on things that excite you and that are fun to do, that you can do just for the sake of having fun. Incorporating more of those things is something that I feel Spirit is definitely emphasizing here, that it's something that is worth doing. So pile number 1, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for managing to hang in there. If you are still here, by the way, if you managed to listen to this whole thing all the way through, and that you were able to bear with me as I was constantly trying to work the cards around. I'm still finding my way through this new setup. So hopefully it was still better than the previous setup and it was more easy for you to follow. But pile number 1, thank you so much for being here. And if you are still here, by the way, if you made it to this point, then leave me a little rose. Leave me a rose in the comment section so that I would know that you made it all the way to this point and that this reading spoke to you in some way. I would love to see you in the comment section, connect with you there. But as always, I also hope to see you back on this channel next Friday for some more messages, insight and fun. And in the meantime, please take care of yourselves, be gentle with yourselves, and see ya next time. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 2. My name is Helen and I want to say a quick thank you for choosing to spend your time with me and hang out. I really appreciate it, and I hope that it's going to be a worthy time for you. I couldn't think of the word that I wanted to say, but anyway, you chose this card and you also chose the Rainbow Tarot, which we are going to take a look at very soon. But first, we have to take a look at the card that you chose and see what is coming up intuitively. We also have some pre-prepared oracle cards, which we are going to take a look at very soon as well. And by the way, if you are looking at the screen right now and thinking, why is the setup so different? It's because I am testing out a new camera lens. So yeah, let's see. I'm still figuring it out, and hopefully it looks better and more sort of steady, more stable, not as much like going in and out of focus as the previous one was. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. So let's actually get into the card. So pile number 2, this card feels really self-explanatory, is maybe, I don't know if it's the best word to use, but it feels very straightforward in its energy. It's kind of evident that at this time you seem to be influenced by some negative forces. Now, those negative forces don't necessarily have to be some people outside of you or some external circumstances necessarily. These can also be like little temptations that exist within you. Maybe there are some indulgences that are a bit of a soft spot for you, that are a bit of an Achilles heel, if you will, and that you are trying very hard to separate yourself from. Like I'm going to give you like the silliest, like the first example that just popped into my head. Let's say that you are trying to quit smoking, or that you have quit smoking for like 6 or 7 days, and you have always loved smoking. So now the cravings are back and you are seeing, I don't know, cigarette ads everywhere, and then you are noticing people smoking around you, and it's just really difficult to stay in your lane, to not get pulled back into it, to not give in to those cravings. Again, it may be a bit of a silly example, but that's just the first thing that popped into my head. But yeah, like regardless of what exactly it is that is influencing you, or that is maybe trying to pull you to a bit of a naughty path, you seem to be holding on to your resolve, for now at least. But it definitely feels like it's difficult. And again, like these little influences, they may be around you as well. So maybe you are working in a collective that has a whole different set of values than you do. Or maybe the people there do things that are somewhat more low vibrational, things that you wouldn't do yourself, things that you don't subscribe to. And it's very difficult to, again, to not let yourself be rattled by the energies that you are surrounded by. So yeah, it just feels like it's this very tempting, very distracting, very like deeply trying to influence you sort of energy that you are dealing with, and you trying very hard to stick to your guns. Now, it may also even be little voices of doubt, little voices of fear that these devils are representing as well. So maybe it's something that you are dreaming of doing. Maybe it is a goal or a project that you are thinking of initiating, but there are these little voices that are trying to talk you out of it, that are telling you that you can't do it, that there are all of these things that are in the way, that there is so much competition, that you know, you would never make it, or like all of that negative self-talk. That's also something that this whole card could be talking about. But again, I'm going to let you put the details in place. If this sort of energy is something that you recognize, then it's a very good indication that this is your pile. But don't you worry, we also have these oracle cards here. As always, as is the norm on my channel, we are going to take a look at these pre-prepared oracle cards to get a more clear overview of what is going on with you right now. And more specifically today, we are looking at your emotional state. So how are you feeling as you are watching this reading right now? So let's see. Oh my goodness, okay. This is like the best card to get. We have limitation. Don't mind me, I'm just always so psyched when we get these synchronicities. Okay, we have scrutinize, to examine closely, to criticize, to inspect thoroughly, to not miss a detail. We have a need for exploration, or a need to explore. We have inspire, to incite positive feelings, to spread your vision, to lead by example, to communicate your heart and your soul. And blame. Okay. Okay. As I said, there are some synchronicities or confirmations that are coming through from these cards, and namely, the first two cards are definitely a strong indication that you are currently dealing with setting up a boundary or trying to keep yourself separate from someone else's influence. This limitation, again, or maybe even again, it doesn't have to be someone else's influence necessarily. This can again be this little devil in your own head, so to say, like metaphorically speaking. But it definitely feels like you are trying to keep a very clear distance from this influence that is trying to impose something upon you. With the scrutinize, again, you are looking at things through a very critical lens. Now, especially if these influences are around you and it's not this internal voice, then this scrutinize can also talk about you potentially seeing very clearly how stupid someone's idea or someone's agenda is, or again, whatever this thing is that people are trying to get you to come along with. You seem to be able to see very clearly what is wrong with that plan, what is wrong with that idea, how many things could potentially go wrong with following that path. But it feels like it may be not that successful at like convincing other people of your point of view, even though again we have this inspire card here. So I'm just jumping ahead to this one, especially if you are again being influenced by other external energies. You seem to be trying to lead by example. Like, I love that this card actually says that, because it definitely feels like you are doing your best to set yourself apart by acting in your morals, or acting according to your morals is maybe a better way to say it. But this scrutinize can also simply indicate that you are maybe starting to see how the energies that you are surrounded by are not the best place for you, or you may be starting to play around or toy around with the idea that maybe someplace else is better for you, because we also have this need for exploration card. So it feels like you are dabbling with the idea of the grass being greener somewhere else, or just feeling this need to not be where you are, to not be surrounded by these temptations, by these distractions, by these low vibrational energies. So it's clear that your mind has already sort of switched in that regard. And if we are simply looking at this Inspire card in a different light, not specifically that you are surrounded by these external energies, then it feels like you are actually being somewhat inspired right now, or this energy of standing on your own and thinking outside the box, not going along with some sort of herd mentality, or again the energies that are so prevalent around you. It's making me think of just like standing apart, doing your own thing. And also I feel that it may be talking about you again starting to see, or starting to realize, look more closely at the sort of energies that are around you, the sort of circumstances that you are in, and maybe looking more closely at, again, what is influencing you, what is maybe making it more difficult for you to do the sort of the right thing, so to say, the right thing for you. Now we also have this blame card, and this may very literally be talking about this feeling inside of you that you can't be where you are at peace, or you can't do well where you are because of someone else outside of you, or that there may be this feeling of wanting to like blame your external circumstances, which by the way is such a normal and human thing to do, I feel. But this blame can also talk about you wanting to stay away, or wanting to steer clear of, like, with this limitation, right? This could also talk about your desire to steer clear of any sort of weird or wrongdoing, or any like sketchy behavior that may result in you somehow being dragged into the mess, or you potentially being blamed for something as well, even if, again, it wasn't even your idea, even if it wasn't something that you initiated or something that you wanted to partake in. It's like you want to kind of like wash your hands of whatever this thing is, again, especially if this is like an energy outside of you. But if this whole thing is something that you are battling within yourself, that there are these little demons that you are battling that are trying to pull you to some sort of a bad path, so to say, then this blame could simply also talk about you feeling somewhat guilty, or feeling very strongly about these temptations, these influences. So yeah, I don't know, pile 2. I hope that this part made sense to you, and that it made it easier for you to see or recognize whether this is your pile or not. And if it is, then definitely stay tuned, because we are now going to move on to the main part of the reading, which is the oracle card message that you need to hear right now, but that also has the prompt or the question that we are going to start digging into more deeply. So let's see, what is it that Spirit feels that you really need to hear right now for your well-being, this self-care message. Oh, I'm loving all of the 2s that you are getting. We had the number 2 card with Moana, and we also have number 22. This is not your practice life. Decide. What is your inner voice telling you about the dream in your heart? Ooh, okay. So yeah, there seems to be something that you are wanting to do here. Something, again, with the dream in your heart. I think there was even wasn't there a message coming through in the intuitive part about a dream or something? I feel like that was one of the scenarios that was coming through. So yeah, that is the focal point of this reading, as it turns out. Okay, so let's see. So let's take a look at what is your inner voice telling you about the dream in your heart. What do you need to know about this? And by the way, sorry, I'm already giving you a heads up that I am most likely going to fidget around with these cards quite a bit as we get the other cards out, because yeah, I'm still figuring everything out. So hopefully you can bear with me. But let's take a look at what is your inner voice telling you about the dream in your heart. Oh, okay. We have the Knight of Cups in reverse, the Nine of Swords in reverse, and the Six of Swords. Okay, so pile number 2, I'm getting more and more strong feeling that for a lot of you, this whole story is talking about, again, these demons or these little devils being sort of these voices, these negative voices in your own head. And of course, it doesn't mean that there aren't these like challenging energies around you as well, or these negative influences around you, but this reading seems to be veering very strongly towards focusing on your own sort of like inner self-talk that seems to be veering more towards like a negative tone of voice or something like that, because we have this Knight of Cups in reverse and we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. And I do feel that basically both of these cards, sorry, I feel like I need to tone the light down a bit. There we go, because these cards are really pastel-y, so you most likely can't see too much otherwise. Both of these cards seem to indicate that your inner voice, for whatever reason, right now is instilling you with a lot of doubt. The Knight of Cups in reverse is kind of saying that you seem to have some sort of a dream, you seem to have some sort of an ideal, maybe even a fantasy of what you would like your life to look like, or where you would like to get to, what you would like to move towards, because Knights are all about movement and taking action. But it's almost like you don't believe in it, like you don't believe that you can actually get there, or there is a lack of belief in the vision, lack of belief in attaining this, because the Nine of Swords is clearly a very, very strong influence here. And this card is all about your fears and your hesitations, your doubts, your anxieties kind of running amok, having a bit of a free reign. And so I do feel that there is this hesitation, this doubt, that is very much running this whole show. And that's why I feel like it's kind of difficult for you to hold on to this desire, or to hold on to this hope that it's worth pursuing, that it's worth doing. And now that I'm looking at this blame card, I'm also seeing it as something that you may experience as like one of the motivational forces, if I can say it that way, like you don't want to feel regret and sort of end up blaming yourself for not seeing where this path could potentially take you. So there may be an aspect regarding that as well. But coming back to the tarot cards, we have the Six of Swords as the underlying energy. And so clearly, this is very, very indicative of wanting to move someplace else, wanting to discover something new. Like, this is very much coinciding with the Moana message, leaving behind where you are and seeing what else is out there, seeing if maybe you feel more at peace and more at home someplace else. So yeah, not quite feeling good with where you are, feeling like you don't quite belong. So this desire is there, but then there is also this negative voice, this negative, doubtful voice. But let's see, what is the root of this negative voice? Where is it coming from? What is this negative influence? Yeah, what is it stemming from? Oh, wow, okay. Interesting. We have the Four of Wands and the Page of Swords. Okay, so yeah, this feels very very straightforward yet again. We have this Four of Wands coming out, and even though the Four of Wands is generally a really beautiful card, it's one of my favorite in tarot, but in this instance it feels like it's heavily hinting at your surroundings, the energy, the atmosphere that you exist in most of the time. And so it might even be that these negative influences are not only people around you, and they are not only the negative voices inside of you. It may be a combination of both. So yeah, the Four of Wands definitely hints at some sort of community, some sort of family influence. For some of you, this can very literally be part of your sort of upbringing as well. The familial dynamic that you grew up in, the sort of foundational beliefs that you were given as you were growing up. So it feels like, yeah, it feels like there is this this deep sort of external influence at play here that has caused you to doubt yourself, that has caused you to see things in this more like pessimistic or negative light. We also have this Page of Swords, and so the Page of Swords is clearly indicating a communication of like ideas or thoughts or values or beliefs. And so that is also a bit of a confirmation here that these ideas have been planted in your head. They are not something that are inherently a part of you. So it feels like the reason why you are doubting things is because someone has told you to doubt them, or someone has made you doubt that you are capable of doing these things that you want to do, or maybe even maybe someone has even said that these ideas that you want to pursue are ridiculous, or they have maybe belittled your ideas or your aspirations, your dreams. Or maybe it's simply something that isn't really common in your cultural space, or in your town, in your neighborhood, in your city, or wherever you are from, wherever your roots are from. There seems to be a strong influence regarding what is sort of done and what isn't done, and there's something about whatever this thing is that you want to explore or that you want to move away from. There is also this influence regarding you wanting to do something that isn't almost like accepted, or that there is something wrong with this idea. So yeah, this feels like a very much an external influence kind of thing here, pile number 2. But let's see how you can overcome this. What can you do to overcome this negative influence? Oh, we have the Three of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. Okay, the Queen of Wands seems to be making quite an appearance. Okay, so we have this Three of Pentacles coming through. First off, because we are dealing with Pentacle energy, this is very much encouraging movement and taking physical action. Not just thinking about potentially trying something, but actually doing something physical to make it happen. Now, the Three of Pentacles is also a card of improving your skills, working on your craft, or getting better at something, perfecting your talent, so to say. And so it may indicate that it is potentially a good idea to start acquiring some skills to give yourself a bit of a confidence boost by building a skill set that you can actually use, that you can actually prove to people with that you are able to do it, and whatever this thing is that people don't believe in and that they don't think is something that is doable, that it actually is, like proving people wrong through doing. And the Three of Pentacles is also making me think of getting together with like-minded people. So it's very clear that wherever you are right now, that atmosphere is not very supportive. And I also realize that it may not be possible for you to leave that sort of influence or that energetic space behind. Maybe you can't do it. Maybe you don't want to do it, and that's fine as well. But I do feel that there is an opportunity, even if it's like, I don't know, even if it's like an online community or something like that, to connect with like-minded people that may help you to quiet down this voice, you know, to see what are the role models, to maybe see or look at people who have done something similar that you are thinking of doing or that you are wanting to do. You know, if it's starting a business or something, maybe reading books or checking out some seminars or you know, trying to get in touch with that energy, seeing what other people have done to be successful, what was their journey, like gaining inspiration in that sense as well, and really finding these like role models to look up to, because we have this Queen of Wands here. And so on the one hand, I do feel that it's a good idea to kind of find people to look up to, because the Queen of Wands is definitely someone who is worth admiring and listening to, like their experiences and their sage advice. But the Queen of Wands can also talk about, again, you finding this positive self-image yourself, or starting to build your confidence step by step. And again, I feel like the best way to do that is by actually doing. So yeah, this sort of building yourself up, acquiring skills, proving to yourself that you are able to do it by actually starting to go down a journey, go down this exploration path and see where it takes you. So yeah, pile number 2. This is some really interesting energy, I do have to say. And sorry, I don't know what it is about these cards, but I find that they are constantly like askew somehow, and it's driving me nuts a bit. So I'm just trying to like make it look more centered, but you know, it is what it is. So pile number 2. Let's also get some oracle card messages, something that is like a support message or a piece of advice from Spirit regarding this whole reading that we have just done. So it's going to be a wrap-up message, something for you to take away from this reading. Let's see what Spirit wants to tell you. Oh, wow, okay. Well, I guess you are getting 2 cards. Normally I'm just taking 1, but okay. Ooh, I love this. I love this card, and I'm so happy that you got it. We have Coyote Spirit, trust in divine detours as the underlying energy. So see, this always makes me think that there is a higher intelligence behind what is happening. And I feel like that's the case here, pile number 2. That you may not realize why you are experiencing certain things, especially if they are uncomfortable, especially if they are challenging and stressful, and they are putting something within you to the test. With this message, I feel like it's definitely going to be worth it, or there is some reason behind it, why you are going through these things, why you are experiencing these things. And I love the word detour because it also makes it okay for things to not go in a linear, sort of predictable or logical manner. You know, it's okay to go through these like ups and downs or twists and turns, and yeah, to go through a path that doesn't maybe make sense, but I feel like it will in the end. Like there is a logic behind it. Oh, you actually got 3 cards. Wow. Okay, you got way more cards than I was going to get. Oh, well, I was going to get 1, but you know. Okay, so we have Grasshopper Spirit. Take a leap of faith. Ooh, I love this. I love this so much. So Spirit is encouraging you to take a leap of faith. Again, this feeling, this desire in you, this bubbling notion, this something that is pushing you forward. It's there for a reason, and it's coming up for a reason. It's because you are meant to do something for it. It's meant to take you someplace that is significant for you and significant for your life. We also have Hawk Spirit. Let Spirit be your guide. So again, it definitely feels like there is a divine hand at play in this instance, in this whole thing that you are going through, and you are being led someplace by the divine. The divine is definitely stepping in. So again, it's no coincidence that you are feeling this restlessness or this desire, this feeling like you don't quite belong. And we also have Ant Spirit, time to collaborate. Oh my goodness. Okay, talk about the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, time to collaborate. I feel like you would definitely find so much inspiration, so much encouragement and support through connecting with people, again, who are either doing something similar, who have done something similar, who are just, again, thinking about things in a similar way as you are. And it doesn't even have to mean that they are wanting to pursue something similar to what you are wanting to pursue. It's just a frame of mind, or it's a mindset thing, right? So if you are connecting with people who are also focused on growth, focused on pushing themselves, challenging themselves, forcing themselves to grow, to step out of their comfort zone, to stand up to their fears and do things and that maybe other people are saying that they can't do. Like it's this positivity, optimism, this can-do attitude that I feel is so important to find. But let's also get a last oracle card message from another deck to wrap this reading up, because clearly 3 cards is not enough. Oh my goodness, I swear to God. You are, okay, these are way too many cards, so I'm just taking the one that was on the table there. Okay, so we have a significant part of healing is taking responsibility for the role you play in your own suffering. So this is a bit of a hard-hitting message, and it's definitely, I feel like, not the easiest thing to hear, but I feel like it's so punchy, and like sometimes we just need a bit of a kick in the butt. But this is I hope that you agree with me. I hope that you can see it too. This is a kick in the butt in like the best way, in the most like loving way, right? Because it's talking about taking accountability and taking responsibility for your own life, and yeah, just looking at your decisions kind of square in the face and realizing that there is so much power that you have over how something plays out or how it doesn't play out. So if there is something that you are not happy with and you have the ability to change it, you have the ability to separate yourself from it, then it may be something to consider. But anyway, pile number 2, I am going to leave it here. I really hope that this reading spoke to you. I hope that you found these messages meaningful, that this time was worth it. And by the way, if you are still here, oh my goodness, I really appreciate it if you are still here, by the way. But leave me a little boat emoji down in the comment section so that I would know that you made it all the way to this point, that you found something meaningful from this, and yeah, that this was an interesting reading for you to listen to. I always love connecting with you in the comment section, and I really hope to see you there. And as always, I hope to see you back on this channel next Friday to dig into some more hopefully fun and illuminating and interesting messages. But in the meantime, please take care of yourself and be good. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 3. My name is Helen and I want to say a quick thank you for hanging out with me and choosing to spend your time here. So I truly appreciate it. Now, let's get to it. So you chose the Modern Witch Tarot, which we are going to take a look at soon, I promise. And also this card. Now, we do have some pre-prepared oracle cards, which if you are not new to my channel, you have already seen in my previous readings as well. It's kind of a norm. But yeah, I want to start off with the card that you chose and feel my way through it intuitively. It should give you a glimpse of the energies that are more prevalent in this reading, or it should give you some sort of a clue as to whether this is your pile or not. And by the way, I just want to give you a quick heads up that, as you can see, the setup is somewhat different from my previous readings. I am testing a new camera lens and I'm definitely going to be fidgeting around with the cards quite a bit because I'm still trying to work my way through this setup. So yeah. But pile number 3, the interesting thing is that I'm being drawn to the sun on this image. And so I definitely feel like this energy right now that is most prevalent for you is very specifically tied to your ego or to your persona, your identity, the person that you are at like your deepest levels, or some of the core traits that make you you. And then some of the traits or aspects that you have taken on or that you are embodying, but that may be part of a social mask of sorts as well. So it's not something that you have necessarily wanted to adopt, but it feels like it's something that you have had to adopt because of where you are living, where you were growing up, what your family dynamics were like. So there is some sort of like external push that I feel that is tied to this mask. And so looking at the image, it seems like there is a bit of a dichotomy between these two selves. They are both part of you. They are both what makes you you, but there is also something like inherently opposite about them, like the way that they are situated, the way that they are looking away from each other, and that like the energy that is coming off of this card is like you're not quite happy, or like one is not quite happy with the other, or that there is a bit of a mismatch here. But the interesting thing is that they are both looking at each other, so it's like they are both aware of each other. And I do feel that that you are definitely aware of these two very separate versions of you. And you may be in a space right now where you are trying to decide which one of those aspects of you are you giving more power to? Which one are you deciding to prioritize? Which one are you deciding to live life by? And the thing is, the weird thing is that I feel like right now you may be kind of at a standstill, or you may be at a crossroads even. And I feel like depending on which path you decide to follow, like whether you are going to go with this socially acceptable or this more so like adopted mask and push this more authentic version of you to the side, or push it back a bit, or whether you're going to choose the more authentic one and disregard the social mask, or disregard what like people expect of you, or what people expect you to do aside. Like depending on which way you decide to go, like a lot is going to depend on that decision. And so yeah, that is the energy that is coming through from this card. So a bit of a tense energy, not necessarily like a hostile one, or a massively stressful one or anything like that. It just feels like there is a point of decision that needs to be made. I almost like, in tarot terms, with this would be the Two of Swords. Like, this very much feels like the Two of Swords. So if you know tarot, then that is the energy that I'm feeling of for this card. And yeah, I feel like because there is some sort of seriousness or weight to this decision, like there is going to be some kind of consequence that results from this choice. The things are obviously going to change once you make this choice. I feel like that knowing is the thing that is causing you to kind of halt. But I'm also feeling like it's something that you cannot postpone for a very long time, because looking at how the sun is like scorching both of these characters, it's like you can't stay here. You can't allow the sun to burn you. At one point it's going to become unbearable and you have to move in one direction or the other. So this is not a situation that can stay the way that it is for long. And I feel like you kind of sense the pressure, but it's also clearly not the easiest decision for you to make at this time. So you may feel somewhat torn which way to go. But pile number 3. If you are still somewhat iffy about whether this is truly speaking to your circumstances or not, then we are also going to take a look at these oracle cards. And more specifically, these cards are going to describe what is your current emotional state. So how are you feeling as you are watching this reading right now? So that should also make it a lot easier for you to see whether you resonate with this pile. Okay, we have unworthiness, justice, consequence. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I just kind of have to gather myself, because the first keyword here, and this is a kind of like a principle card or a bigger theme card, which has a lot of different keywords associated with it. And yeah, this consequence, because it was just something that was coming through that we were talking about, it kind of just hit me right now. Consequence, vengeance, law, order, protection, immunity, legitimacy, falsehood, truth, fairness, punishment, karma. Wow. Okay. We also have like deep joy or immense joy. We also have bypassing. What necessary perspectives or information are you refusing to acknowledge right now? What are you resisting? How have you been dismissed? In what ways have you or your ideas been deemed unworthy of consideration? Oh my goodness. Okay, this card actually says unworthy, and we had unworthiness here. So that to me is already setting up an alarm that the idea of unworthiness is a very important one. Okay, and we also have betrayal. Okay, pile number 3. Wow, I already have a feeling. I have this spidey sense that this may be one of those deep readings again, or where things are going to really get into it. But you know, it is what it is, and the cards are what they are. So let's just go on the journey. So I'm going to start off with the first card here, which says unworthiness. And this is definitely a really like heavy hitting kind of card. There's a lot of emotion that I feel is tied into this. See, I feel like that is the key word in all of this whole reading. That there is a feeling of unworthiness somewhere that is embedded in you, that is pushing all of this scenario forward right now. It feels like you feel this sort of pressure or this urge to be a certain kind of way, because it feels like whatever the true vulnerable aspect of you is, this aspect of you that maybe not that many people are even aware of exists, you feel that it is unworthy in some sense, that it is not acceptable, that it is not going to be appreciated, and that it feels like there is a feeling of having to make up for something, having to compensate for something that you feel that you are lacking within yourself, something that you deem unvaluable. And so with this Justice card, I really just feel that like you are trying to kind of correct that path. You're trying to correct that feeling. Maybe that's a better way to say it. You seem to be trying to correct that feeling and kind of override it or get rid of it by entertaining these different facets of you, these different masks that you again seem to be embodying. With this Justice though, there may also, like, this could also be talking about you feeling the sense of being like judged or being criticized. Like, it almost feels like there is a very harsh sort of focus on you, or like you are under some sort of scrutiny, and you have to be a certain way in order to not be like cast aside, or in order to be accepted or validated. And see, these three cards, I feel like this is a whole unit. We have this immense joy, bypassing, and betrayal. And these three cards are talking about this joy that results from living in your authenticity, living in your truth, doing the things that light you up, and following this inner bliss, regardless of what other people say. But with this bypassing and betrayal, I actually feel like this betrayal is talking about you, like this inner betrayal that you may be feeling. It's almost like this mask that is this social mask that is more acceptable, is something that you are using to potentially, again, receive some sort of validation or acceptance. But I also feel that all of these cards are talking about bypassing your own happiness. And I know that it may be a difficult message to hear, and it maybe lands really heavily, like heavy or heavily, but that's really like what is coming through here, because this joy card, it feels so out of place to me. It feels such an odd one out. And the interesting thing is that even this card, we see this sun, we see all of this yellow, and it's like on the surface, it looks really like positive or optimistic, or like if you don't focus in on the actual like faces or expressions on these characters, and you don't focus on the energy of the card too much. If you just look at the big picture, or the sort of the general image and the sun and everything, it feels like it's all good. It feels like it's all working, and it seems to give off a false impression, I feel. And I feel like you are realizing, like, the reason why I feel like it's so difficult for you to make this decision, for you to choose or to follow a certain path on this crossroads that you are at, is because you are realizing what you would be giving up if you were to follow this other path that would maybe please someone else, or that would maybe make you feel more worthy of something or someone that you are trying to please. But yeah, it definitely seems like there is something that you are compromising, and this compromise seems to be stemming from not really prioritizing your own happiness and your own sense of fulfillment. Yeah, wow. Okay, pile number 3. As I said, I already feel that this is going to be a bit of a heavy hitter. If you feel that you are not into this, even though hopefully we are going to take a look at how you can feel better, what it is that you need to feel better, this sort of self-care focus is what we are going to be tuning into. But if you feel that you are not really ready to be in this sort of energy, then feel free to click off this reading. I absolutely understand. But if you recognize yourself and you want to see what comes out next, then definitely stay tuned. So as I said, now we are going to get to the main point of this reading, and we're going to start off with looking at an oracle card message, which is going to be something that Spirit deems important for you to hear for your well-being at this time, but that also features a question. So it's going to be like this main prompt that we're going to build the reading around, that we're going to dig more into and see what sort of messages come up. So let's see what Spirit needs you to hear more about at this time. Okay. So we are looking at a card that says, what is has no bearing on what will be. What does your ideal life look and feel like? Wow. Okay, I'm going to show you the card as well. This feels so very potent, so very powerful, and it just feels like a big, big confirmation of the energies that have been coming through so far. So, yeah, and I just love that keyword here. What is has no bearing on what will be. So, yeah, I mean, like, again, it feels like the road ahead is open. Like, you can change this. You can change the course of your life. Like, there is, oh yeah, oh my God, I just love it. And I love that we're getting waves here too, because this whole boat thing or canoe or whatever this is, I love that we're getting this synchronicity with the waves as well, and like being on this journey, so to say. But yeah, okay, so let's start digging into this reading. Okay, let me get these cards, like, let me sort of fidget around with them. Okay, so let's first dig into, what does your ideal life look like? So let's see if we can get a bit of a description about what this ideal is for you, that is calling out to you, right? Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Oh my goodness. You are getting all of these major arcana cards. Yeah. So see, I just knew it, that this is a hugely profound place that you are in right now. Yeah. And that you are definitely dealing with some like big topics, big themes, big emotions. We have the Death card in reverse, the Moon, and the Empress, with the Fool coming out in reverse as the underlying energy. I have a sense that this ideal life of yours, or this like authentic voice that is gnawing at you, that is pulling at you, it seems to be tied to something that you have potentially held yourself back on, especially with the Fool in reverse as the underlying energy. I want to start off with this one, because this is talking about doubt and hesitation and yeah, kind of not daring to jump into something, not daring to jump into a new beginning. But I do feel that there is some sort of adventure or some sort of exciting path, an exciting journey that is calling your name and that has been maybe tugging at you for a while. But again, it feels like it's almost been put on hold, or like you have been trying to ignore it and kind of follow some sort of other more traditional path maybe. Now, the Death card in reverse is also talking about something that is kind of stuck. I feel that it's, in this instance though, it's not necessarily like a bad stuck. It's just something that has stayed with you, and something that potentially has stayed with you because it hasn't really been given a proper chance. And so it almost seems like it's something that is coming back around. I almost want to say like it's waking up from the dead, or it's waking up from hibernation is maybe a better way to say it. So it feels like the dream that you have is tied to some sort of vision that already existed in the past, something that you maybe wanted to try but that didn't take off, or that you didn't like fully give a chance. So it might be something like revisiting something, an idea or a plan, or potentially again a vision. Now we also have the Moon here, and I'm gonna cover up the slight nudity that is on the card here. Part of this dream of yours is not having a clear goal, not having a fully detailed, well thought out plan. I feel like there's something about not knowing exactly where your path is going to take you, that's really exciting. Not having everything like pre-decided or each step meticulously written out and thought through. And maybe, again, maybe it's something more wild, something more spontaneous. Maybe you feel drawn to a life that isn't conventional, that has its own rhythm, that is maybe more in tune with how your body is feeling, how natural cycles and rhythms are. Wanting to go more with the flow and sort of see where your passion takes you. But I also feel, and maybe this is more of a specific message, but maybe some of you are even drawn to like the occult or more like witchy stuff and things like that. Or maybe you want to pursue something, maybe like your truest nature or your ideal life involves having some sort of a witchy practice or an occult practice of some kind that, again, your family or these people around you or maybe even society at large wouldn't approve of. And so you are, sort of like veering off the traditional path, like definitely wanting to follow your own kind of intuition, to follow your own inner voice and have a bit of an open-ended sort of future. Now, we also have this Empress card, which is such a beautiful, beautiful energy. And I feel like you are just like potentially wanting to create a life that, again, suits your own personal needs, that isn't necessarily tied to any like rules or regulations or norms or structures. Now, I'm not saying that you are wanting to live like outside of civilization or anything like that, even though maybe that's the case for someone here. Like, who knows? There's no judging. You know, if that floats your boat, then by all means. But yeah, this sort of veering off the traditional path or not following like set norms or set traditions or set rules or things like that. I feel like it's just talking about like your lifestyle, and again, not necessarily you wanting to live outside the law or something like that. I just wanted to clear that up. But yeah, maybe there is something like, again, something artsy, something creative that you're wanting to do, something that isn't maybe like this safe and steady source of income, or that isn't this like stable 9-to-5 job that maybe your parents or your partner or your friends or whoever think is like the way to go. And with the Empress energy, and actually with the moon as well, maybe you simply want to live like a quiet countryside life, or sort of away from the city and any like huge residential areas. Like, you just want to kind of be tucked away in like your own little corner of the world. Maybe that is something that you really want to do. But I just feel like there's a lot of fluidity. Like, if we kind of zoom out, there's a lot of fluidity, there is a lot of freedom, there is a lot of creativity, and just sort of honoring and respecting your own personal cycles, your own personal flow, like how you are feeling, what you are up to on any given day, kind of pushing yourself and seeing where something takes you, just experimenting with things and allowing your mind and allowing your creativity to roam freely. Like, that is something that I feel maybe an ideal version of life for you, something that would bring you joy. Okay, but let's see, what is the main sort of hindrance for you right now? What is the main thing that is stopping you from following that ideal? This is insane. You are getting so many major arcana cards. We have Judgment and the Star in reverse. I feel like I have to, because the Star is, once again, depicting nudity. I have to cover it up somewhat. And we have the Ace of Swords as the underlying energy. Yeah, so see, I want to start off with the Ace of Swords, because I feel like the biggest hindrance here is basically your perspective, or it's like this main thought in your head. It's something that you believe to be true. And again, it's something that actually can be overridden. It's something that can be overcome, but it just potentially takes some like perseverance and some like pushing through. Now we have Judgment and the Star in reverse. Both of these cards together are saying that there is, again, I feel like there is a belief. This Ace of Swords, right? Keep that at the forefront of your mind. This belief that Judgment, depicting this awakening, this soul call, everything that we have been talking about, right? This true version of you, this, all of that energy. There is some belief around that not being attainable. With the Star in reverse, this is talking about hopelessness. This is talking about lack of belief, right? And so it just seems like there is this this inner belief that you can't really have it, that you can't attain it. And again, I feel like that is like, this belief is not necessarily coming from you. I feel like it's tied to influences around you. It seems to be tied to something that has, again, pushed you to embody or to take on this role, this more socially acceptable role. But again, I love this message. What is has no bearing on what will be. So like this whole past journey, this whole past experience, most likely the main cause of this whole mask even being created, clearly it was needed. Clearly you had to take it on. It was protecting you. It was giving you something useful or something valuable at the time. But I feel like it doesn't have to have any sort of significance regarding how your life goes on or how you progress from this point forward. So let's see, how can you encourage this self-belief in you to follow your ideal, to follow your joy, to follow your bliss? Okay. Oh my goodness, the amount of major arcana in this reading is absolutely insane. We have the Lovers in reverse, the Ace of Cups in reverse, and the Magician as the underlying energy. Okay, so first off, looking at how you can overcome this hindrance and start instilling more of this like self-belief and self-trust in you, so that you could go ahead and sort of follow your joy and start working towards your ideal life. We have the Lovers in reverse and the Ace of Cups in reverse. I feel like the message is actually quite simple. The act of actually doing it is not that simple, but the principle of it is quite simple. So essentially these cards are talking about separating yourself from things that don't fill you up, separating yourself from this false sense of self, or from this false image, and yeah, like to stop putting your energy into this false image, this mask that you are wearing for someone else. Because the Ace of Cups in reverse is indicating that there is a serious lack of emotional fulfillment, that there is an emotional emptiness, even something where you have drained yourself to the point that you actually feel lack, because it's clear that this mask is not really giving you anything. It's not sustaining you. It's not nourishing you, and so yeah, the most sort of easy solution would be to separate yourself from that energy and to start paying attention to the places that suck out that joy in you, that take away from you feeling good about yourself, from you feeling good in what you are doing, in who you are spending time with. All of these like little decisions that end up making a really big sort of deal in the end, and starting to work on this like potential disconnect, or this place where maybe you haven't prioritized your own emotional fulfillment. Now, we also have the Magician as the underlying energy. And this is talking about, again, trusting yourself and starting to explore, starting to experiment with what is actually at your disposal. And I feel like it's talking about certain skills, certain traits and interests that you have. It's simply talking about exploring and seeing what happens. I feel like this energy is emphasizing how important it is to just give something a try and see what happens. And the other interesting thing is that we are getting the Magician, right, as the underlying energy. And we're also getting this Ace. And both of these cards are number 1. They're the number 1 cards. And they are very much tied to more of a solo energy, which seems to indicate that there has potentially been a bit of an imbalance regarding your prioritizing something or someone else over your own needs, over yourself. And I feel like maybe it's time to come back to the self. It's time to set your focus on you, right? Because this whole reading, as we already said from the very beginning, this whole reading is about you. It's about you as a person. It's about your identity. It's about your core being, and getting more in touch with that in order to spark joy and feel true fulfillment in life. So yeah, with this Magician energy of doing something, calling something into being and seeing what happens, it's this little like experimentation that I feel that would really help you along to get you out of this stalemate energy, to get you out of this funk, and make it a lot easier for you to decide what is actually right for you. But pile number 3, I feel that I am getting sucked into this energy again, so I kind of have to distance myself. But let's close the reading out. We have a couple of last oracle card messages to look at. These are going to be supportive or just advice messages from Spirit, something regarding this reading to help you, to support you, something that you can take away from this reading. And yeah, let's see what Spirit wants to tell you. Oh, okay. Oh my God, I don't know what it is. We are getting so many cards, but yeah. Oh, I want to start off with the underlying energy. This is beautiful. We have Horse Spirit. Freedom is yours. Oof. Yeah. Freedom is yours. I feel like Spirit is really, really wanting to emphasize that you are not actually as stuck as you may perceive yourself to be right now. You have the opportunity to set yourself free if you so choose. So yeah, freedom is yours. Oh, I love that. Okay, we also have Chameleon Spirit, act as if. See, this is a funny one. And I think that it's very, very strongly hinting at potentially not feeling quite as confident, not feeling like you can fully embody this, this inner pull that you feel towards like expressing yourself more authentically, or like veering off the traditional path or something. But act as if is basically saying that, again, if you just take these little actions, if you just try something out, if you give it a chance, if you just explore and experiment, then again, doing something makes it a lot easier to actually get in touch with a feeling of self-assurance. And yeah, so even if you don't necessarily feel confident in these things that you are wanting to try in, again, prioritizing yourself, seeing what happens, try just doing these little things to see how it feels. And yeah, I feel like it is going to become infinitely more easy to get in tune with that feeling. And I feel like you won't even realize when you end up embodying this true sense of self, and you won't even know how else to be. Like, it just feels so sort of natural. We also have trust in divine detours. Yeah, this is a beautiful card. And it's basically just saying that the journey that you have been on, the twists and turns that you have experienced, just trust that they are leading you someplace that is worthwhile. So yeah, even if something doesn't make sense, even if something, yeah, like even this whole dream, like this Fool energy and this death in reverse, the journey that you were forced to kind of veer away from for a time, you know, there is most likely a reason behind that part of the journey too. And I feel like it's going to make sense to you one day, like why you had to go through that part as well. But yeah, it's definitely not in vain, is what I feel Spirit is saying here. We also have Turkey Spirit, give with gratitude and grace. I actually feel like this is talking about giving to yourself because I feel like it's something that is desperately needed here. You deserve to give to yourself with gratitude and grace. But pile number 3, let's also take a look at one last oracle card message. You got 3 cards already, but you know, it was only supposed to be 1. So let's see what other last message we can get. And this is definitely going to be just one last message. So yeah, let's see what else Spirit wants you to know. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to see what other cards came out, but as I said, we are only taking the 1, and this one was definitely the most sort of prominent that was coming out. It says, remain a student always. And these cards are so bright, and the text is not always that visible, but hopefully you are able to see it. So remain a student always. Yeah, this is a beautiful sort of reminder that, again, taking me back to this Fool card energy, that we always have something to learn, that we always have new experiences to go through, and yeah, to just remind ourselves that we are constantly on a journey. We are never like fully done, or we are never fully developed, and I feel like encouraging yourself to stay in that curious mindset, to be curious towards life, to be curious towards yourself, and again, the ways in which you are changing through time, the person that you are becoming, the limitations and challenges that you are able to overcome within yourself and outside of you. Like, there is so much value in that journey. And so yeah, just staying open to life and staying open to learning and discovering new things. I feel like that is a beautiful message to end this whole reading on. But pile number 3, oh my goodness, I'm gonna leave it here. Oh my God, and just as I said that, sorry, I was gathering up the cards because they were kind of falling all over the place, and the underlying energy, I haven't really shown the underlying energy on any other piles, but this one is just, it's way too crazy, so I have to show you. It says, replace judgment with curiosity. Oh my God, this just feels, yeah. I'm so glad that I decided to fix the cards, because again, they were falling all over the place. So yeah, oh my God, replace judgment with curiosity. Wow, such a beautiful message again. Yeah, and we were just talking about curiosity, so it just fits beautifully. And I hope that you feel the same way, pile number 3. I hope that this reading gave you something that it was interesting to follow and interesting to listen to, and that it gave you something useful to ponder. But if you are still here, by the way, and oh my God, I keep messing up the cards. If you are still here, by the way, thank you so much, first and foremost, if you are still here. But let me know in the comment section by leaving me a flag. Leave me a flag, and it would be amazing if you left the country, the flag of the country that you are actually from. I would like, that would be so cool, and I would really love to see that. So if you resonated with this, then yeah, let me know where you are from, where you are watching from, or I don't know, maybe you are not actually living like in the country of your nationality. Anyway, yeah, leave me the flag of the country where you are from, and that way I would know that you made it all the way to this point, and I would love to connect with you, and I would love to see who I'm actually spending time with. It would be so, so cool. I also hope to see you back on this channel next Friday for some more messages, insight, and fun. And also let me know how you like this setup, whether you want me to try something else, whether you want me to switch things around. Leave me your thoughts down below. But yeah, thank you so much for this time, and I truly, truly hope to see you very soon on my next reading. But in the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.